Hello, welcome back to Football United TV. I am joined by Sav today. How are you doing, Sav? You all right?
Hey, yeah, I'm good, thanks. Are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Little complications there just before we went live there.
That was quite funny, though, to be fair.
You should have seen it. You should have seen it. Sav, we always do this. Shout out your shirt. What are you wearing today?
I am full-on lockdown edition. I'm embracing it. I've got my Joe Exotic Carol did it one on today. Yeah, fully embracing the lockdown. Got nothing better to do.
You got a jumper there as well, haven't you?
It's another t-shirt. I was going to wear this one, but as I said, I couldn't be asked to iron it. But yeah, the real hero of the 2020 quarantine. I've got a couple of these. I do love the Joe Exotic stuff.
Brilliant. He was the hero, wasn't he? Everyone loved that. That was like the top view thing.
I was so into it. I still am a little bit. I haven't got over it. It was just such a random thing. Like when they interviewed that guy whilst he was taking a bath, like when would you think that would be a normal situation to, just come and interview me in my bathtub? And then there's that woman who got her arm mauled off, and she was like, "Oh, they said they could save my arm, but I'd be longer recovering." So I was just like, "Chop it off!" Like, the most mental bunch of people I've ever sat and watched.
He liked it though, didn't he, Sav? Like he liked that. He liked that attention.
Yeah, do you know what? I was thinking actually earlier, he must be so gutted that he's in prison and all this has kicked off, because he would have loved all the hype over that.
He would have. And I wonder what football team he supports, Sav.
I don't know.
Who would you guess?
I don't know. Hold on, Sunderland. No.
Sunderland. On the way down.
No, I couldn't imagine him being into football, to be fair. He'd be like the weird fan that you wouldn't go near, wouldn't he, really? In the corner with his shotgun.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like if he was the owner, yeah, especially. Which manager's next? You know what I mean? Pointing them off.
He'd just be shooting off the opposition from the crowd.
So we're here to talk about something quite serious, actually. The lockdown and whether football should be stopped because of it, and the fact that seems like the government have got it wrong for a little while. You know what I mean? They've been reclining a little bit on their actions and not really taking any strides into making it better and making bad decisions. Do you think with sport as well, do you think we should stop? I mean, they've stopped a lot of sports, haven't they? They're saying that tennis is going to come back. The football's still going to go on. Do you agree with this, Sav?
I think I actually saw. I don't know. Maybe I hallucinated it. Have you seen F1's been put back, or did I imagine that? I might have imagined that, but I thought it came up on my Sky Sports earlier. But do you know what? They're all tested an awful lot, and you'd think that would sort of hold off any sort of mass, infections. But then again, today was this 40, isn't it? They've had confirmed now in their latest run of testing, which seems a lot. And obviously, we've already had games cancelled because of it, mass sort of infections within clubs. It's really difficult to say, because a very selfish part of me is like, no, I just want to carry on seeing. Well, it depends how we're doing, actually. But, that part is that I would be really lost in lockdown without having that. But then, the other part of it is it's safety. It's the infection rates are really high at the moment. It's people mixing still. It's really hard one to call. I'm not really sure. But it was stopped last time and it hasn't been this time. But I don't know really the reasoning behind that, because I think the infection's a lot higher than what it was on the first lockdown.
Yeah, that's right. And like I say, I think it was something to do with the schools, isn't it, as well? The fact that the kids have probably been the ones that have potentially been spreading it a little bit more, because they made that pact that the schools would go back during that time. They should have just shut it off probably all over Christmas. Would you say that, Sav? Like, I mean, everything, not just football, but
yeah, I think this is the problem. Sort of, it's all been very slow and a little bit too little, too late. I can't believe that we've gone this far into this pandemic, and with the schools, I understand there are kids that live in abusive homes that want to go to school, and I think maybe they could have made that optional, had a decent online learning system for those that didn't want their kids to go into school. And, the ones that did want their kids to shove off to school, they could send them at lowered numbers in classrooms, lowered that mass infection rate that's just been rising and rising ever since they've gone back. And yeah, I definitely think everything's just been done a little bit slow. He could have done a mass lockdown, like you said, over Christmas. That would have, done something. But like 60,000 cases or something today, wasn't it? Which is just mad numbers. So yeah, I just think it's all just been done a little bit slow. There's been, it's all that, economy versus health and sort of battle that's going on. But who knows, now the schools are closed, hopefully it will start to slow down again.
So why do you think they've kept football going? I mean, we got this here from Big Gunner. They said they got to ban it, really. Do you know what I mean? And I think that as well. Look, I'm still working. They haven't put a ban on my company to stop work, and that's what a lot of people are going to do. Do you know what I mean? If that's the case, do you know what I mean? Because who knows what the future holds, like, financially and everything else. Like, do you think that football should be stopped, like what Big Gunner said there?
Yeah, I mean, like, even if it was just sort of 6 weeks, a month, 6 weeks, just to, whilst all this is going on, like the rest of the country has shut down, like you said, you're still working. But I think that maybe with the cases rising in the Premier League again, it should maybe be stopped for a little while and just let the infection rates go down. I mean, a lot of people said the first time around, it wasn't very good for their mental health not to have it. But the sooner we start containing the virus, the sooner we can all get back to some sort of normality. So something's got to give.
Absolutely. I'm just dreading like having another lockdown. Do you know what I mean? That was the worst thing I ever heard. Like, but I knew it was going to happen anyway, so I was sort of prepared for it. So it looks like Chris Welch says Australian Grand Prix set to be postponed, so F1 will be delayed and start in Bahrain instead.
Yeah.
You might be right. Do you know what? I think they should stop it for a little while. You said as well that there was a few cases in the Newcastle camp. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it was like 14. I think it was, and we obviously had a match postponed. We've still got Alan St Maximum and Jamal Lascelles is missing. Manquillo's missing. I know that he's saying that Alan St Maximum and Jamal Lascelles have got long COVID or something, but I'm sure you have to have it for like 12 weeks before you can call it that. I'm not sure. I'm not a medical person, but I thought that was the way it went. But it hasn't been 12 weeks, but they're still out. So yeah, some people it hits really badly. It's quite a scary virus, really, because you just don't know how it's going to affect people. Some people get a really mild version of it, don't even hardly notice they've got it, and some people are completely knocked out in bed for days. It's just mad. And if it's knocking out footballers like that for months on end, you've got to think of people's safety, really, rather than entertainment.
It's so difficult to have, honestly. It is, because I hear a lot of people saying like conspiracy stuff as well, and it, you know what I mean, and I don't believe it. Do you know what I mean? But I'm kind of thinking it's sort of breaking up the country a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Not just in football, but everything else. Do you know what I mean? In everyday life, and it's kind of
some of these conspiracy theories I'd love to believe, like, oh, it's a hoax, there's no virus. That would be great if it was all a big hoax. I wouldn't even mind if that came out. But it's obviously quite a real disease that's going around, and I don't think you can sit there and go, oh, it's not real, because my uncle died of it. So it's definitely something, it definitely does exist, and it affects people, not only the people that get it, sadly, how many thousands of people have we lost to it. So with football, really, as not nice as it'd be, maybe it'd be best to give it a rest for a few weeks and then restart.
Remember, we were so excited when the Bundesliga started again, and we was looking forward to seeing teams that we didn't even know.
Yeah, oh yeah, and seeing how it was all going to be run.
I know, we were like, yes, I can't wait to see Freiburg versus Hoffenheim. Woo! Yeah, Yes, come on, 2:00 kickoff. Let's go for it. Yeah, no, like I agree with you, Sav, 100%. I don't think there's any conspiracies that people should be believing in about it. People like themselves and like myself as well have had people close to us been affected by it, and that's all we need to know. You probably like know nurses. I know nurses and doctors as well. Say, look, this is real. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, this is not a conspiracy. So yeah, take it serious, everybody, if you can. And
do you know what though? The NHS do an amazing job. I had to go to the hospital the other night, as you know, and I went in there. I was absolutely petrified. I was like, I've avoided any place like this entire lockdown. Suddenly, I've got no option. But that, you know, they're all absolutely plastered up in PPE. It's a very real situation that's going on in there, and that, you know, they're still providing an amazing service to everyone and making sure that they've got time for everyone. And I think that, you know, they all deserve sort of applauding for that, because when I went in there, you know, there was no delay. You wouldn't have known, apart from all the plaster and PPE, that there was anything going on. So yeah,
absolutely. Would you what do you think of this message from Chris Welch? Could the Euros get cancelled completely if we stop football till infections go down?
Possibly.
Mm.
It's a really difficult one.
I would like to see the Euros, but if it's, you know what I mean, if it's going to be a bit out, because it's apparently going to be held all over Europe as well, isn't it? So we have fans like travelling to different locations, different games set in different countries. Apparently that's how it was starting off to be, but I believe that they've been talking about just putting it in one country so it stops the spread. But then everyone's going to need the jabs to go abroad anyway.
Well, this is the thing, because I was looking at, you can go on an online calculator to see if you put in your age and if you've got any health complications and things like that. Tells you when roughly you're going to get your jab. And I put in my age, and it said that I was looking at between next January and next July. So that's like a year to a year and a half away. So how are they going to get people all vaccinated and able to go? And it would just be, it's not going to happen, is it, in that amount of time?
All I can do is nod no. And I just say the same exact thing. Chris Welch, the government got a lot to answer for. Absolutely correct. But they never do. They always, like, you know, go against what they're meant to actually.
They babble around it. They don't actually answer the question. They'll answer something else. And when you hear it back, you think, you know, you've just avoided that completely. It drives me mad.
Giving it a rest will do nothing and just pack the schedule. Season will barely finish as things stand. Doubt Euros are getting cancelled. Vaccine will be given to all vulnerable by then. Would you agree with that, Sav?
Yeah. I mean, they're going for the sort of the vulnerable people, you know, for a start, aren't they? They're sort of one of the first to get theirs, and then they're going, like, I think it's over 80s, 75, 65s. My mum can't wait to get her. She keeps telling me, I'm like, keep bragging, mother. So yeah, I think they'll probably get around them. I don't know how they're going to manage it. Obviously, you can't foresee what's actually going to happen, but hopefully. I mean, I've seen someone saying about them rolling out sort of 24-hour jabs. So if you got called to have your jab at like 2:30 in the morning, would you go? I think that, you know, that would speed people through. But then, can all people do that if you haven't got access to a vehicle and things like that?
Exactly, and it's January and it's snowing everywhere. So if you got to walk like 30 minutes to a hospital or even longer just to get a jab, people will probably do that, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but it's sort of like the older people, isn't it? People that live on their own and things like that can't get there. I mean, I don't know how they're going to work it, but hopefully it gets rolled out quite quickly, and, you know, we can get back to normal.
Exactly. What else do we want to talk about? Sav, we wanted to talk about social media fans.
Yes.
Or Twitter fans, to be fair, and fan bases, and are they all the same? Yeah. Why did you bring that up, and why do you want to? What makes you think of that as a topic?
You know what it is that I've often thought about it. Obviously, I'm not in the Newcastle fan base on Twitter, and I very rarely deviate out of that. And some things that people start arguing about are really sort of trivial, and it's only a select minority. And like the takeover situation, people argue about that all day long, and look into things and analyse things, and the fan base will divide in half. And I just sort of wondered if this sort of stuff goes on within other fan bases, or if it's just us lot, because and the trolling as well. Is there trolling in other fan bases? Because there's a very select group within ours that relentless all the time, troll people for no particular reason. They don't know you. They just are just vile. And I just wondered if that is a normal thing within other fan bases.
I think it is. I think it is, and I saw a vlog yesterday with a Liverpool fan, and he seemed like he was a troll against the club that he supports.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It seemed like he had his own agenda, and it didn't matter about facts or anything else. It just mattered about how he felt. Like he supports a club that he thinks are flops, like the whole lot. Which you probably think about Newcastle, don't you? To be
Do you know what though? I've got FIFA and I'm in career mode as Newcastle manager, and I feel too guilty to sell them all. So I've still got, I think I bought Ings from Southampton and sold off a couple that we never use or never play for us. But apart from that, I've still got an eye on the same squad that I'm rolling out there. I was like, I can't let them go.
You sound like Brucey now. No, you don't really. You don't.
I probably would be like, no, actually, I don't think I would be like him as a manager.
Yeah. Jordan, I can't let you go.
Yeah. That's quite a good impression there.
I want to go to Brazil. I can't let you go. That's all I can say. I'm not doing any more. Like, no. No Harry Potters, no Hugh Grants, nothing like that.
You could be an impersonator.
Well, I can do a good Sean Connery. Yes. My name's Bond, James Bond. Sorry, that was terrible. There's loads of complete weirdos on social media like me. Half the people don't support their team and just have agendas. Rants. I always say rants, Sav. It's terrible. Rants and bants. Rants looks in pain whenever United win. A fan apart. Apart. Is that a word? Apart.
I don't know.
Apart. It's like me of the that reminds me of Monty Python when that guy writes something. They end a fan. Like he died at the end of the sentence and just went. Shouts out to you, Reload XXXXX. I thought I had to do that just in case one that's got an extra X. I want to make sure I got it right. Sav, yeah, do you think it's full of weirdos?
Do you know what? I mean, obviously, I've been on Twitter under a year now, and I avoided it initially because I'd heard about trolls, and I do have sort of one of those temperaments that people either like me, but a select few really hate me because they find me irritating, which, to be fair, I irritate myself sometimes, but I just can't help it. So
Do you wear a Carol Baskin shirt, though? Do you ever wear
what, me Carol Baskin get up?
Oh, yeah. If you do that,
my new profile picture.
She'll be like, actually, that she's all right. I like her now.
They're probably like, she's really weird. Who does that in their spare time?
You'll get a picture back of them like wearing the same shirt, going, "We're cousins" or something like that.
But no, I've had a majority of people within the Newcastle fan base are really nice, and I've got a real nice little circle of friends on there that I chat to every day, and they're all really lovely. And then there's a few, like I had one really go at me because I said that Steve Bruce's interview technique was quite negative. That's the only comment that I made, and they went mental at me. Said that I had an agenda to get likes or something. I was like, what on earth are you on about? I've literally just made a comment on a post. I've had one say that I deserve to die for my opinion on football, which was quite extremist. Wow. Yeah, I have had some really nasty, and they're that is a real select group, though. There's not that many of them, but everyone reports them. Everyone knows who they are. Everyone reports them. Their account will get suspended, and then they'll make another account and come back. And then I've had a couple of times, because I block them, they'll come back in their new account and start re-abusing me, and I just don't like reading it. So I tend to just block them again.
Just how many blocks you got now? I've not had to block anybody.
I'm over 100.
I haven't done anything wrong. It's just like, look at him. He's got no followers. But I'll just block him. But
no,
yeah.
Do you know of the account Money Mike Ashley? It's disappeared now. He's like a huge account. He blocked me, and I don't even know why.
Mike Ashley?
It's Money Mike Ashley. It's not actually Mike Ashley. It was someone else impersonating him. He had like 30,000 followers or something, and he randomly blocked me one day, and I was like, what have I done to offend you?
What? Is he actually got a picture of Mike Ashley as well?
He's gone again. He cropped back up today, apparently, but he got to so many followers, and then he said that he had to go quiet because of the takeover, and like Newcastle Twitter imploded. There was like, this is actually Mike Ashley, and the takeover's going to go through, and it went really mental for a while. But he reappeared today and then disappeared again.
What? Hey, look, they're salty fans. I was telling you about this. Salty fans. Charlotte Strong, big up Charlotte Strong. Maybe get you in a minute. Just to clarify, any footballer that breaks COVID should get a 3-match ban and fined 100k.
Yeah.
But ain't they going to be like lining the wallets of like the Premier League and all that in fines?
Yeah, but I just think like they don't. There's not really been any punishments, is there really, given out for it?
You know what they should do? The money from punishment should go towards a charity of the clubs or the representative's choice.
Yeah.
I don't know that someone's getting paid off of someone like getting a red card. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, or the Cavani thing, like how he had to pay 100 grand. Where's that gone? Where did that go?
Yeah.
Someone's like, thank you, Cavani. Thank you. Say some more. Get on your Twitter.
I'm not being funny, but if these footballers are paid enough to be able to abide by the rules at the moment, But
they won't, though, will they? What would you think it is? What do you think they know that they're being looked at? I mean, have you seen the Jack Grealish car incident? Have you seen that video?
Yes, yeah.
What on earth? Like,
he's a worse driver than me, and that's saying something.
Like, even when he's drunk, like, be discreet. Bloody hell! Like, what was he trying to do? Like, he got out of the car, all right.
Yeah.
But as soon as he did it, suddenly he just went all wonky. Like, he just crashed into everything. It was like Austin Powers, like crashing into the wall and back. Like.
Reminded me of me trying to park at Tesco's.
Can you do that? I think I've seen you do that, actually. Is that you who does that?
Yeah. I don't know how I passed my driving test. I actually hit the curb 4 times and she just gave me 4 minors.
Brilliant.
I shouldn't say that. I'll get banned from driving. Retake me test.
Well, we're not really live. No, we are. We are live. You are going to get banned. It's okay. Charlotte, again, anyone telling you that is an absolute dickhead woman? Fans are fans. No difference between men and women. Fans will support a game of football. We should be supporting every fan that does well. You got to agree with that, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't really see why people feel the need to drag others down on social media. Times are crap enough as they are. Everyone's having a hard time of it. And mental health is really, vital right now. And you should think, well, I did that documentary, didn't I, on Amazon Prime, the Think Before You Tweet one. And that's such a important message. It's, if you don't agree with someone, we don't all have to. If we all had the same opinion, it'd be boring. But you can, argue your opinion in a respectful way with someone rather than firing personal insults. I always say when you get to a point where you have to start name calling and get, death threats and all things like that, you've lost your argument because you've got nothing other than personal insults to give to someone. So I do think it's just, I wish that people on Twitter would just learn to be a little bit kinder to other people and a bit more considerate of what everyone is going through at the moment. And, as I say, is that think before you tweet sort of mentality. Unfortunately, some won't, and they won't until Twitter sort of clamp down on what, you know, on not letting them make these new accounts, maybe banning the IP addresses. I don't know, one way around it.
I saw a post about Greta Thunberg. You know, that that little girl.
Yeah.
I don't even. I won't say it here. I won't any of this stuff, but it's vile.
Yeah.
Absolute vile.
Another one is Harvey Price. Whenever I see anything on him and someone mocking him, you know, he's a disabled man. How people think that that's acceptable, you know, Katie Price is his mother, but there's nothing to do, you know, with him and why people think it's. I know that she tried to sell her car, and someone messaged the car place saying, had he been dribbling on the back seats and things? And I think, oh my God, that's just what do these people, what goes through these people's minds when they want to be like that? It's awful. Like, oh, it really does need clamping down on within social media, because I think especially with lockdown as well, people are sat around more, they're bored, and people are probably using it more, and you get these people that could possibly tip someone over the edge. I had someone that I follow, and he followed me a few weeks ago, just tweeted out that he was, you know, that was it, and he was gone just like that. And it's just like, that's mad. And then you sit there and you think, God, I wish I'd have just reached out to that person, but you don't have a clue what they're going through. So that one little comment that people say, and they think, oh, it's just a laugh, I'm just having a laugh, it can really affect someone.
Yeah, do you know what? I also don't think that people are actually trying to have a laugh. I think they're trying to upset people, and then when it goes too far and they're called out for it, they look at themselves and go, I shouldn't have done that. You know, and it's just like, well, you're too late. You know what I mean? Your initial response was to write such a comment to somebody, you know, and they don't deserve it. Like, they don't deserve it at all. I'm going to bring Charlotte into the stream, because we're going real deep in here. Charlotte, Stab, Charlotte.
Hi.
You were saying, Charlotte, I'll put up that you put here. Hello. Anyone telling you that is an absolute dickhead? Women fans are fans, no difference. You know the rest. What? Yeah. Do you agree with Sav?
It's true though. There's literally no difference between men and women, and actually, some of the women fans I've actually met are actually more knowledgeable than the men. Like, we've had this discussion before where we've called men out on like football facts, and they don't know anything, or like men don't get called out until they are really wrong. Like, they can get away with bullshitting away until like they're really wrong, but women just get called out like the minutes you're like, oh yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan. Okay, can you name 5 players? Yeah, no shit, I can. I can name the whole fucking starting 11. What the fuck do you want now? And then I name the starting 11. They're like, can you name the manager and the owner? And I'm like, yeah, I can. No shit there. Oh, and who's your favourite player? Oh, and don't say the obvious. I'll say the obvious if I want, if it's a decent player. Now, piss off. Like, don't judge my choice in football players. Till then, pipe down. But no, I don't really get why women get more ag, because I know women that know much more football knowledge about football than men do. And some of the girls I know are so knowledgeable, and they still get questioned so much, and I'm not sure why. Because when you speak to them, that is a completely different story. But you judge them on their appearance of the fact that they're a woman. And that's what I disagree with.
That's why every time I do a vlog, I never put anything about you lot being women at all. I never will. You're just a fan of what your club, you know what I mean? I'll never put... It's like saying, oh, here's 3 Muslims talking today about Arsenal or Tottenham. Why would you... Here's 3 homosexuals talking about QPR or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, why did I say QPR? But yeah, like, you just you wouldn't do it, would you? So I just think it's a fan. If you see, oh, it's a woman, that's your response. That's cool. Like, I don't have to tell you, like, who's on the. You know what I mean? Like, what sex somebody is, or what their sexual preference is. So I don't get the jibes, but I just, you know what it is. Do you ever get it from women? Can I ask that, both of you? Sav start first? Do you get it
Yeah,
from women?
my first troll was a woman, and I think there's a few of them actually, because that group that I was going on about, they are men and women, and one of them just completely hates me. Like, I don't even know what I ever did to her, but she ripped me to pieces several times. I've had to block her. But yeah, I'd say that at times, you know, women can be as bad as the men. If they're all, these are like a little cliquey group, and that the women in that group are just as guilty as the men in that group, in my opinion.
Is it the same with you, Charlotte?
Yeah, you know, I've.
Do you ever get any?
I don't actually, like, all the women I know support each other, like, and I think there lies the difference, is that I like any woman that doesn't like support other women, I don't know, because I block them, or like I tell them very nastily what I think of them, and then I block them. Either way, they get blocked. I don't particularly associate myself with women that can't support other women. They're really not. I don't really call them women. I just call them bitches, because I don't have time for them. Like, if you can't support another woman, then how can you call yourself a woman? Because if you can't support someone else for doing well, like, you need to go work on yourself. And that really is all it stems down to, is women getting jealous of other women succeeding. But I tend to stick to like the girls I know, like, they all like support each other, and we all like big each other up. Like, I don't need to be around negativity and people that aren't going to support people, because it's not what it's about. Like, every fan, male or female, like, it doesn't matter who, should be supporting everybody. And if someone's doing well, you go, yes, well done, or you like retweet them. Doesn't take much at all. Like, it's literally 2 seconds. You just big them up. It doesn't take much, and if they're doing well, you do that. Like, it's not hard to do.
Is it always criticism for being a female, or is it always is it sometimes harsh criticism for just what you're saying, like on what you feel about your team or your player you're talking about?
I mean, I think you get judged for a woman because, like, if you say you're a fan, they expect you to know knowledge of like a lot of knowledge. They expect you to know the ins and the outs. Like, I've been asked what the offside rule is. Like, I don't know why. Like, because some of the men I know don't know the offside rule, and I'm like, so I get questioned, but you don't. Like, and then they're like, oh, who's your favourite player of all time? But when I say my favourite player, everyone just looks shocked, because they're like, oh, it's not like Frank Lampard. They just expect me to say something like Frank Lampard, John Terry, Drogba, something like that. It's easy. Now it's Dennis Wise. And then they go, oh, she is a fan. I'm like, yeah, hun, do you want to pipe down now, please? Like, they judge you, and you get questioned more as a woman than you would a man. If a man says something wrong, they won't question you. Like, they'll just take it as it is. Like, what you say goes. But if a woman says something and they know it's wrong, they're like, no, you did this. Even if a man says something and they know it's wrong, they're like, no, I'm not going to bring it up. But a girl says it, you're not a real fan. How can you call yourself a fan? You don't support football. You don't know anything about football. Like, they literally go psycho. I'm like, jeez, I can't.
Would you agree with that, Sav?
Yeah, I do agree with that. I know that when I first sort of came into football Twitter, a lot of people, there was a rumour that circulated that I was secretly a man, and I had to take photos of myself. I sound stupid now, balmy thing to do on a Friday night, with a bit of paper saying not a fake account, take a photo and put it on Twitter. And then people were like, oh, well, you can have a photo of someone holding a bit of paper and photo that. And then that actually came around to how I started doing Steve's show, because he invited me on to do a reveal, like a gender reveal, like, you know, what you do when you're having a baby. And that's how I started. I did that show just to try and shut that lot up, saying that I was secretly a guy talking about football, posing behind a picture of a woman to get followers and likes. And yeah, that was how I started doing Steve's show every week, because of that. And then after that rumour got quashed, suddenly I was secretly an Arsenal fan because of my accent. Because I used to go to away games, you know, I've been to Highbury and the Emirates. I'm secretly an Arsenal fan. And I got bullied off of Arsenal Twitter because they didn't like me, and that's why I've turned up. Because out of all the teams in the Premier League that you could pick, Newcastle would be the one, wouldn't it? Because they're so enjoyable to watch. and that's why I'm on there now. And that rumour seems to stick. In fact, if you Google my name, if you put in Savmondo, it comes up Savmondo Arsenal. It just all corrects to it. It's mad.
I'm so confused how you go from Newcastle to Arsenal to man to... You've gone from man to woman to like... Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so confused how you get there. Like...
You should have mad, isn't it? It's like,
no, but I'm confused. I'm confused about the man bit as well. Like...
Oh, they were all convinced. They were like, "Oh, you're just posing behind women's pictures because you want followers."
Because women can't know anything about football, and women that are pretty or like makeup or like clothes, they can't know anything about football either. Oh no, they're just lying. It's all fake. Fun fact to any of the trolls watching: we like football. Women can like football and like makeup as well. Fun fact, just random fact there for you, hon. You know what? People are so thick sometimes.
They are, Charlotte. They are, and they don't really have that sort of sense of understanding of other people's feelings. You got to sometimes step outside the box to understand how somebody might feel about what you say. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you can offend, and it's okay to just say how you feel, and it might offend somebody. But then there's like being offensive where you're trying to offend somebody, like purposely ruin their day, and it's like you don't need to do that. There's no need for it at all.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. How about we so what was we talking about? Twitter hate, but what else can we talk about on that? What else annoys you about fans online? Not just Twitter, but anywhere else in general. Like
Twitter's the worst.
Yeah, it is.
Because if you report someone, Twitter's like, I've had so many times I've been like, where I've reported people and they're like, oh no, it's okay, this person is not getting blocked, it's not broken the rules or something. And I'm like, if this was a man to a man, you would have blocked them by now. Like, don't come for me, Twitter. Like, Twitter doesn't help the situation.
Chris Welch says football is for any football fan, men, women. Like Charlotte said, we support game of football, which is
yes,
it's quite like that in life though, isn't it? You know, like women have been pushed away from a lot of things that they definitely can do. You know what I mean? Saying you're a woman, you can't do that. Your place is in the kitchen, and all that sort of talk is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible. Even when I was younger and that was normal, I felt that was terrible. But that's from me watching David Attenborough and that, and like loving nature.
Oh my god!
What's up, David?
But if you compare, like right now, if you compare the men's teams to the women's teams right now, name me any men's team that's better than the women's team right now, because you can't. You can't. Chelsea, nah. Spurs, nah. Arsenal, definitely nah. Liverpool, nah, because they're actually winning all their games. Man City, nah. Reading, nah. I mean, Everton,
you mean on form,
nah.
right? Mm.
Like literally, all the women's teams are on form. The men's aren't. Like, but yet the women don't get televised, don't get paid shitloads of money, but actually turn out and do proper football. Oh, and they don't dive either.
They don't, do they?
That's
No,
the thing
they
as
really
well with
don't.
women's football. I've noticed on Twitter, if there's a clip of someone playing a bit dodgily, that in the women's football, that will be straight on Twitter. But you see it all the time in the men's game. It's like every game, several times you see it, and no one bats an eyelid. But if it happens in the women's game, then it's straight, it's spotlight straight on it, and it's being shared round.
Mo Salah, Firmino. Sorry, that just Harry Kane, Son. Sorry, I just had a sore throat.
Yeah, we've all got corona. It's all right. So, that's why I'm staying home. That's what I'm saying. I might have corona. I don't know. But that's why I'm here. That's why I'm at home. Like, I'm not going out. There's nowhere to go anyway. So if you're going out,
exactly. I was going to say, where are you going to go? Like,
you'd go around someone's house, couldn't you? You could have a house party, couldn't you? You could keep it low. Listen to like some silent dolphin sounds.
Yeah, but I think, what kind of house parties do you go to? Like, massive
coronavirus house party, Charlotte. We can't be playing the drum and bass, can we, and drinking the whiskey. You know what I mean?
You drink whiskey when you drink drum and bass. Oh, the questions I have for you right now are
I drink
seriously.
anything when I
Oh
listen
my
to
god.
heavy metal, whatever. You offer me a drink, I'll down it. I'll smash it in my head.
Oh
I'll be
my god.
eyeball Paul. I'll put it in the eye. You know.
Not actually crazy.
Hmm.
Can't.
Yeah, a little bit. So, hang on. Let's talk about Newcastle and Chelsea. Not that you two are facing each other or anything, and Man United aren't either. But how did you feel, Sav? Because we're going to talk tomorrow, aren't we, about the FA Cup with Egal. But how did you feel about the result the other day for Newcastle? And I heard you on the talk as well. Like, I want to hear more about what you were saying on there.
What about Leicester? Well,
yes, please.
Well, I wasn't that impressed, to be fair. We played not too bad against Liverpool. I'm not going to say, we played amazingly, but for us, considering we all sit back behind the ball, let everyone else have possession, don't chase the ball down, we play long ball up to Wilson, who feeds off scraps in front of the goal. I thought that against Liverpool, we looked like we were trying, which was a massive improvement. Turned up against Leicester, and it was much of the same dross that we serve up all the time, which is really disappointing. We're so inconsistent. It seems to be the fans will really start slating Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce will get really rageful, start having a dig back at the fans, and then go out there with something to prove. Once he feels he's proved that point, it will then be back to normal, and then it cycles round. So, yeah, Leicester, I thought we played abysmally. There was a lot of people saying, we deserved at least a point out of that. No, we didn't. You can't play crap for most of the game and then perk up for the last few minutes and go, we deserve to draw out of that. That's not how it works. I think, Leicester didn't really massively even turn up. They wasn't playing massively well, but we still made it hard for ourselves, which is really disappointing. And as I said, we've got a few key players that have gone AWOL at the moment. And it's just, there's not a lot being said about that. It's just really difficult. And I'm really actually quite concerned for our next few games. I know that a few people said they're concerned about Sheffield United, but actually we haven't got a bad history up against them. So I'm a little bit, feel a little bit positive about that one. Wait for me to be completely wrong and us get absolutely thrashed. That would just happen. But yeah, Arsenal, I know we're going to talk about it tomorrow, but just no.
Not for you. Not having it. No, they're on board. Right. Well, we're looking at someone below here, Charlotte, who they were bantering Arsenal, Sav, only a week ago. How do you feel now, Charlotte? You were there on the reaction the other day.
Oh my god!
Have you slept well now? Like, have you like arose to the fact that Chelsea might not be where they want to be right now in the facts of gelling with the team and Lampard and the things going on in the background? What do you make of the situation right now?
I think I get more angry at the fact that it looks like the players aren't playing for Frank, and I don't know why, and I don't know why it started, because it hasn't been all season. I'd get if it had been all season, I would have tolerated it. Well, I wouldn't have tolerated, but I'd understand it more if it's from the start of the season. You've come up, five games, like the amount of points we've lost in the last 5-6 games is absolutely stupid. How we turned Arsenal's luck around. I can't even forgive myself for this. Arsenal should have won because we didn't turn up at all and we didn't deserve to win. We didn't deserve to deserve a win against West Ham. We just got lucky. We didn't deserve a win against Everton. We definitely didn't deserve a win against Wolves. A draw from Aston Villa, we deserved the win, but we didn't come for it. So we deserved a draw or a loss, I would have taken, because we didn't deserve any of this. I'm happy to admit my team is Frank against Man City. Frank decided to do what we all wanted. Pulisic, Ziyech, and we had Werner up front. And I was just questioning where half the players were during the Man City game. Like, you know what? The first 10 minutes, I was not complaining. We were attacking. I was like, yes, come on. This is going to be the turnaround. I'm going to be able to celebrate a goal. I'm going to know what it feels like to celebrate a goal because I don't remember what it's like to celebrate a goal anymore. Anyway, Man City get a goal. Man City gets 2 goals. Man City get 3 goals. I'm like, shit, I'm done. Done.
How are you saying like you haven't seen a goal for a while? Chelsea haven't been doing that badly. They've had a little bit.
West Ham. No, actually, Aston Villa was the last goal. That's a while ago. I don't remember that. Like our form is that, and to be fair, none of the goals that have actually happened in the West Ham and the Aston Villa game have actually been spectacular goals or a goal I would actually be like, yeah, I remember that. They were just goals. They weren't particularly special. Like it was just lucky we got goals, like especially in the West Ham game, because Declan Rice, how he didn't get a goal, I don't know. Like the West Ham deserved at least 3 goals in that game, and we just got very lucky. And I'm willing to admit that we were very lucky, because if it had gone in, if we'd have if we'd have gone in 1-1, like it would have been a different story in West Ham, would it not? Yes. Like we're lucky that they didn't get a goal, unfortunately. But it's the same with the City game. Like we just didn't recover from the first goal. Like once the first goal was in, it's just like all the lights went off. Like the players were there, but the lights were off. Like nobody was home, and I was like, yeah, you're Chelsea. You're supposed to turn up. Like you'll get like. And like I've had this discussion, and people like even if they waved their paychecks above a fire, I don't think they would have reacted. Like they look dead. They don't look like they want to play for Frank, and I don't know if Frank's the problem or if it's to do with the backroom staff, but something is an issue. I don't know what it is, because Frank played how we wanted and it still didn't turn up. So I don't particularly know what the problem is.
Do you Sav, start with you. Do you rate Declan Rice?
Not really. Not really. No. It's a difficult one when obviously I sit and watch the dross that I watch week. I sound like I hate Newcastle. I hate speaking like that. When you sit and watch that every week, because sometimes you think in my mind goes probably take him, but no. But it's no.
You wouldn't take him at Newcastle, Sav, no?
Oh, I would. I'd take him at Newcastle. Don't get me wrong. That's what I've just said. It's really difficult to gauge because a lot of our players play completely backwards. And then when you think of someone else, you're like, I would take him. And not a few other names we see linked to. We have some, like a lot of people go, will be linked to someone, and they'll go, a lot of people go, no, I'm not taking him. And I'll think, actually, look at our side. I'd take them all day long. Even though I don't particularly like them, I'd still take them. But yeah, I would take him because of what we have. But
if you didn't have that option, you wouldn't take him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not welcome, Declan Rice, at our club. Like we have these rumours speculating that like he's coming. I would rather have a box of 20 share box chicken nuggets. I would rather have a share box of chicken nuggets from McDonald's than I would Declan Rice. Because you know what? For the amount of money for Declan Rice, I could get a life supply of McDonald's chicken nuggets. I don't be needing him. I'm sorry. Declan Rice is good for West Ham. I don't think he'd do well in the big 6 or any of the top 6 clubs. And that's personally my opinion. I think he's a big player for West Ham. I don't look at him when he plays for England. Does he shine as much as he does in West Ham? No, that's a fact. There haven't been as many moments when Declan Rice has been playing that I've been like, oh yeah, that's what he does at West Ham. It's like, he's on the pitch. And you need that big mentality, and he doesn't have that. I mean, he could grow into it, but as far as I'm concerned, Declan Rice, I want chicken nuggets.
So you basically saying Declan Rice is going to be another Danny Drinkwater? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm basically saying is even Danny, yeah, I'd rather have chicken nuggets over both of them. Yeah, that's my final decision.
Chicken, you'd rather have. You keep going on about chicken nuggets.
I love chicken nuggets.
A lifetime supply of chicken nuggets would be nice, though. To be fair.
Do you know what the problem is? Is that I'm staying with my parents a minute, and we literally have no takeaway services, and there's no McDonald's anywhere near us, and I just want chicken nuggets now. Like, it's in my head. So yeah, I'd rather have chicken nuggets than Declan Rice.
We'd have to get on Deliveroo or Just Eat because you can't go there now.
I know,
Big up
literally.
Diana and LP as well from Dublin, Ireland. We got Charles McGuiness in
Oh
the house.
no, please, nah.
I
Oh my
told
god.
you coming.
Hun, like, okay, that.
Charlotte,
Charles.
I have to ask Sav because Sav is new to that. He doesn't. She doesn't have any idea what he's saying.
Oh god, she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to.
No, Sav. This guy thinks Tottenham are going to win the quadruple this season, and if they don't win it, we all owe him an apology.
An apology? I don't think Tottenham, in any way, shape, or form, are going to do the quadruple this season. Right, we're not being rude. I don't want to have to do an apology, but I don't think that's going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Just to clarify, before we discuss this, he actually said that he wanted to win a triple, which was the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and the Europa League. He then decided that the Premier League was fourth. I'm sorry, the Premier League is the biggest one out of all of them, then the FA Cup, then the Europa League, and then the Carabao Cup.
I think he even put the Papa John's trophy. I don't know how they're going to get that one, but
I don't know.
Maybe how many orders you get in one night? I'm not sure.
I mean, I thought Man City would get that with Kyle Walker's parties, but
we got Jesus Christ, Charles is everywhere. You damn right.
Literally.
I'm not going to stop you though, Charles Maganuzzi. I hope maybe you're Italian. I don't know. It's a very, very lovely name. Very erotic. Chicky Nuggies.
Yes.
Is that what they call it in Ireland? Okay, cool. Only squad Spurs are going to win is 4 games in a row. Only quad, sorry. Spurs are going to win 4 games.
They'll bottle that too. They will bottle 4 games in a row too. Don't you worry about that.
Really? You think so?
Spurs bottle everything. When it comes to it, Spurs bottle everything. Champions League final, bottled it.
How did Spurs do against Newcastle this season, Sam?
So that was 1-1, and they had a right old hissy fit because it was a dodgy handball at the end, and I thought it was brilliant. I was like, yes, I'll take that. But went back on Twitter, Spurs fans kicking off all over the place. But yeah, no, even we could get them, get a draw out of them. So
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it when Newcastle drew with Spurs. It was very entertaining for me.
They were so angry.
Oh, literally.
It was a draw the other night as well with Liverpool, and then them losing last night with Southampton, which Sav, how I feel about that. Wow.
So unhappy.
You were happy as well, Sean?
No.
Why?
Do you know what? I was happy for Danny Ings. I really was. Goings, all great. But, okay, this is just my agenda, and it's basically just aimed at you, Matt. I just can't have you on top of the league. The amount of, banter I'm going to get from you, I don't even want to deal with the fact that if you go top of the league, the amount of texts I'm going to get, and I can't deal with that. So what I'm saying is I don't want them to go top because of you. So if anyone else wants to blame it on Matt.
We are going to go We are going to go top. We're going to do it. Because it's look, I'll tell you what as well. If you're both around on Sunday, the 17th of January.
Oh,
it's my
Liverpool.
Birthday, it's Man United versus Liverpool. I'm going to do
Come on, Liverpool.
I don't want Man United to go top because I really dislike someone who supports them. So I just like to think, although I don't see him at the moment because we're all in lockdown. I like to think that if Man United lost, and I always sit there and think he's going to be miserable now. I'm really horrible. I'm just like, yeah,
I literally am like that. Just to clarify, when I come on the 17th, just like to clarify, it's the only time I'm going to be bigging up Liverpool. The only time I'm ever going to be bigging up Liverpool, but I'm sorry, I can't have you winning. Sorry.
I'm bringing Indiana in here. Indiana, thank you so much for joining us in, because you said about Declan Rice and I believe Sav and Charlotte are not too keen on Declan Rice. How do you feel about him, Indiana?
I don't know what he offers. is what I'm asking. Is he's been linked to Chelsea for a good while. I know he can fill in at like centre back. I know he can play that single pivot, the double pivot, and the DM. I do like him on the ball. I can't lie. But what I'm asking is, what does he offer to a top 6 side? He's obviously being linked to these. Excuse me. Obviously being linked to these sides. Just like to know what you think. Who you think he should go to in the top 6? Who needs him the most? And what he offers each side. Should he go to them? If that makes sense.
Go for it, Sam.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. What was it? Sorry. Sorry, that was really bad.
What does
I was just
who would need Declan Rice the most out of the top 6?
No one.
Oh, I don't know. So this is the thing. Is that what Charlotte was touching on? He's good at West Ham. I think if you put him in someone in the side in the top 6, he would drown. And I think that is where the issue comes. So if I'm thinking, where would I like him from my point of view? Just to see that unhappy man on, that I see, maybe Man United. I don't think he'd cope in a top. I think he's very sort of, mid-table level, in my opinion. That I'd take him at Newcastle, but then have you seen what we've got? I said earlier, have you seen what we've got? But I think if you put him in a top 6 side, he wouldn't cope with it.
Brilliant.
Anything but Chelsea. Like, he is not welcome at Chelsea. I'd just like to clarify this. Frank Lampard, Declan Rice is not welcome at Chelsea. Nah, done. Don't want him. Don't need him. Nope. No.
Would you be annoyed then if you went to another top 6 side and killed it? After all the links?
No, do you know what? I really wouldn't. Like, I personally believe in my opinions that I don't think he's going to kill it. I think he'll struggle because he plays like he is at West Ham. He is one of the better players in West Ham, or he is one of the best players. I'm not saying the best, but he is a decent player at West Ham. But I think if you chucked him into something like Man United, even like Chelsea, that the category then goes up. Like, the players he's playing with go up a level. Like, and I just don't think, like, when he plays for England, does he really shine? Not particularly.
But does his level not go up?
Pardon?
Playing with better players, does his level not go up?
Right, yeah.
When you see him in England, he's not bad, but he doesn't do anything like Marcus Rashford does or Harry Kane does. Like, it's nothing that special that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that because that was really good. Like, he played in an England shirt. Congratulations. What more do you want from me? Like,
Kante. You say like a Kante, you don't really see too much of him. He didn't score so many goals, but he puts in a prolific example of what work rate. But
you can't talk about Kante and Declan Rice on the same level because that's absolutely not happening. That's offensive, Because
he's more of a Michael Carrick style player, not as good.
Yes,
obviously.
Really not that good. But
he does wonderful things
like for West Ham.
But West Ham, I was going to say it was the C word, but West Ham aren't as good as the top 6. So maybe if Declan Rice did fit into a team that had players around him that he could work with, then maybe it would work.
Yeah, but I don't know which Big 6 team I'd put him in. That's the problem. Because if you put him in Arsenal, half the players in Arsenal need to go or aren't as good. So then you've got a problem there. I don't think he'd fit in City or Liverpool, if I'm personally honest. United, would he fit in United? I'm not sure. Don't think so. I don't think he'd fit in Chelsea either because we're looking to recall shitload of players like next season. So
would you not take him at Arsenal over like Xhaka then?
I mean, yeah, but you're playing him with players that really look at the quality of players you have at Arsenal. Would it make him not play as well? Because the players at Arsenal, the morale's not great at the minute. If you put him in there, would the morale then get to him?
Okay, over United over Matic. Or Scott McTominay. Like, those are the levels.
Absolutely. He absolutely goes over Scott McTominay. Like, McTominay's absolutely shit. He absolutely goes over McTominay. But I mean, it's true.
Sav, who are Newcastle looking at the moment? Do you know anything in the January transfer window that Brucey's looking at for Brucey Ball, baby?
Do you know what? The only one that I really, really want to get at the moment is Willem's back. And I said the other day, if he's not coming back, he's trolling us because he's been putting out like cryptic tweets and things like that. I'd love him to come back. I do think we need to put someone decent in midfield because our midfield is shoddy and awful, and no combination of any, central midfielders is working there at the moment. But yeah, Willems is a 100% definite. I'd love to see him come back. He's just going to get in loans, and God knows who he's going to get.
You're linked to Brandon Williams from Man United.
Yeah, I saw that today, but then I don't know, because then obviously we've got Lewis. I don't really know what's going on with that. I don't know.
I can see why Bruce would want him.
Yeah, because he's a Man United fan.
No, I don't think it's that at all. I don't think it's that at all. Like, Man United rate him so highly. His attitude, his determination, the ceiling that he can reach. And I had this debate with a Man United fan this morning, and I was just saying that Man United are letting him go out on loan to a Premier League club. Like, they want him to go to a Prem club. This isn't like they want him to go to a Championship club. They see him as a higher level than that. And I know that all the coaches, the manager, the club, they love Brandon Williams. The players, they just think he's got potential. I do think that grit and determination that he shows could really help with Newcastle at the back.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't get me wrong. He's no sort of like world-class player. That's not what you're getting. But you are getting a player who puts in 100% every game. He does give you that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Like I've said before about Newcastle, we're a team that, relies on defending, and sometimes our defenders can't defend, and so it doesn't really work. So, who knows? It doesn't surprise me that we're looking at defenders, though, at all. But we do need to sort out our midfield because that is just really bad at the moment.
Yeah, what do you think can make the difference in the midfield there for Newcastle, Sav? Like, is there anything that you're looking at in the Premier League? Like, we talked about Declan Rice, you're not cool with him, but anybody else that you think could bolster your squad depth, at least?
I actually don't know. Do you know what the problem is? Is that Sean and Matty Longstaff, I don't like saying it, but I don't massively rate them. I think Matty's slightly better than Sean. But he put them together at the weekend, and that was a no-go. I think Hayden's really good for us, and we sort of rely on him heavily. He was obviously suspended at the weekend. But we need someone who's a bit more attacking that can get the ball forward. I'm not sure who we would be looking at, because obviously this Newcastle will be no one too exciting. But yeah, we need someone who can carry the ball forward and not keep passing back. Hendrick, for me, I felt really guilty because everyone was sort of slagging him off, and they're like, "Oh, he's really shitting that." He's sort of been dropped and he's disappeared a little bit. But I don't know if he just does a lot of chopping out work in the middle. But all I ever really see him do is continually pass the ball back, and that's that really negative style of play that we need to get out of. We need someone who can, actually push it forward.
Agreed. Would you agree with that, Indiana? Like, looking at Newcastle and the fact that you said Williams might be going there, do you think that Newcastle are looking to get signings like that they can achieve from players in the Premier League?
I think the big problem with Newcastle is they've got players who like to get on the ball, and they do like to hit low percentage passes, like Matty Longstaff, John Joe Shelby. It makes a massive difference if you've got is it Wilson? You've got the new striker,
yeah,
and Almiron and Gucci Man. You got that front three fit. That's very different to a Joe Linton who just wants it to feet, right? A player like I can never remember his name. Who normally plays left back?
Left back, Lewis.
No, that's not the guy I'm thinking of. Older guy, always injured.
Oh God,
I can never remember his name. He played in left back quite a bit, and I thought it was his best position. He's played all over the park, but players like him and whoever he is, I can't remember his name. It'll come to me, probably.
It's made my mind go blank now. I can't think of this name. My mind instantly goes, hold on.
But players like him and Brandon Williams, they like to overlap. They like to get down the wing, which is probably they're attacking fullbacks, and I think that would help Newcastle a lot. It seems to be like you're very good at winning the ball in midfield. You do that quite well, but it's always the low percentage pass, that worldy pass, rather than just trying to break the lines. And that also helped with players that move. You need that movement. I'm not sure what is going on with Gucci Man. What's up with him?
So no, I was saying earlier, he's gone completely AWOL. They said Steve Bruce said he's suffering from long-term COVID, but if you look on his Instagram, he's over in France having a riot with his family. Doesn't look like, although you can't say that because a photo doesn't tell you a whole story and a short little video, doesn't look like he's terribly unwell. He did a video saying, "Oh, I've got no problem with Steve Bruce. I'm fine. I feel great." And you think, well, if you feel great, how are you out with this apparent COVID? There was stories that he'd had a bust up with Steve Bruce because he was going to drop him for a game and he refused to go. And then that was the last. And then it came up that he had an injury, and that was the last anyone really saw of him. He hasn't been back since. Not even a training, nothing.
That's more likely that he's fallen up with Steve Bruce.
It's just weird doing that video. Like he was going, "Oh, I love Steve Bruce" on this video. I just thought that was really. If you had a fallout with him, would you then go and do an Insta live saying that you loved him?
Yeah,
saying that you love him is a bit weird anyway. But
what do you make of that, Charlotte? Yeah,
it's weird. Like, I mean, that's a mixed message in one, you know. But then he could just be doing it to piss Steve Bruce off, like any way to piss him off. And it's not hard to do that. Let's be real. It's not hard to piss him off. Like, it really isn't. Right. The man has a loose like, he's very easy to wind up. So if he wanted to piss Bruce off, like, all he had to do was do a stupid Instagram video, which A, showed he wasn't in the country, and B, that he's capable.
Just to finish off, I've seen a lot of images of Fat Frank going around. What do you make of that, Charlotte, as a Chelsea fan? Do you think
the good old West Ham days, you know, being brought up for Frank? I feel sorry for him, man. Like,
no, but I mean like a picture of Frank fat.
Yeah, no, I know. I've seen the picture, but it all stems from his days back in West Ham when he was like a little bit chubbier. But I mean, we don't need Fat Frank. Call him out if you don't think he's a good manager. Call him out if he's not doing this or he's not doing that. But don't use something against someone. Like, people could have self-confidence issues. You don't know. Like, people have issues. Like, we don't need to be calling him fat. I get it's banter, but there's banter and then there's a line that you cross. And I feel like Chelsea fans have kind of crossed this line. And the fact that someone's actually gone and edited a photo to make it fat, that's wrong. Like, that is so wrong. Yes, it was funny when people were talking about it on Twitter. Like the first time it was funny. Now it's just stupid. Like, he used to be fat, and what? Look at him now. Man's more ripped than you. So why don't you just go sit having a chocolate biscuit and piss off? Like, nah. Don't have time for it. Like, fat shaming is not okay.
Wow. It's just the FF, isn't it, Fat Frank? I think that's the reason why people do it. But yeah. You get criticism, aren't you, unfortunately? But we talked about this earlier. Actually, Indiana, if you're there.
Yeah, I'm still there.
What do you make of the Twitter fans? Just to finish off, like, I want to ask your opinion coming from a male. Like, what do you make of fans on social media sometimes? I think they're a bit reckless and...
Obviously, yeah. So we know Twitter's a toxic place, man. It is, especially football Twitter. Like, I admire especially women who get involved in football and on Twitter. Because for some reason, women seem to be a target for these weak-minded people. I see this a lot, and I just think, what is actually wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you that you've got to, like, try and shame people in some way when actually all of the women that I've streamed with, I've got more knowledge than 99% of the blokes that I stream with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, what's wrong with you? People like to hide behind their keyboards. We know that there's some weird stuff. Some of the abuse that I know people I've got people have got and I've got through the terrace and stuff is just like is crazy, and some of it is like serious, like really bad. It's people are pricks. Let's just put it like that. That's people. But you've got to expect it. Anyone who's going to get involved in this kind of game, you've got to expect it, unfortunately, because people will try and trigger you. They'll say the nastiest things. You just got to learn to ignore it, man.
Sav, Charlotte, you agree with that coming from my guy, Indiana? Like I've talked about this with you, Indiana, overnight, the fact that it's very important to have female opinions on, and don't shut down the people in the comments as well. Get more women involved into it, commenting, coming on shows and showing that it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. I'm hating it as well. I really hate it. I was speaking to Elena the other day, and it kills me, mate. It really does. It really does. I don't know it. I hate it. Stop it. Let's stop it now. Everybody is watching. Support the female opinions, and don't be so fat. Is that right? Is that right to say that? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you've gone a bit muffly for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a bit of it.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, support female opinions. It means a lot to do that, because I've seen a lot of horrible stuff, and it's not right. It's not right.
Do you know what as well? What people, I think some people don't understand, coming on these sorts of shows and doing it live. Like, everyone who knows me in real life knows I'm a complete airhead. And sometimes, I can say really stupid things or get something wrong. And sometimes when you're on one of these shows, people will pounce on that like that. And I'm like, oh my God, but this is just who I am as a person. And it's like they expect you to be like top expert on the ball all the time. And that's not always easy when you're sort of sat there, and you're live. You have all that, sometimes it does get a bit stressful. I went on a stream the other night, and I actually felt overwhelmingly nervous, and I have no idea, because I do it all the time. And some people don't do these sort of things, don't understand, that actually it can be quite stressful, and they shouldn't pounce on people regardless of any situation, who you support, what gender you are. They shouldn't pounce on people for any reason, because if they've seen it, they've obviously tuned in, so they obviously are interested in what people have got to say on that channel, and that they should just chill out a little bit, calm down.
Agree with that, Charlotte? Any last words on that matter?
No, that kind of sums it up, to be fair. Like, we just need to be kind, really, at the minute. And, like, kindness doesn't cost a thing. So if you can support everyone, cool story. If you can't, don't get involved.
Yeah, that's it, really. I myself have been involved in a lot of debates, and like there has to be a line. These are people's opinions. We talk about football because it's an opinion. You might not like that opinion, you might not agree with that opinion, but there's no need to ever get personal with it. It's just football. Like, me and Matt could have a blazing row on a stream about football, but when the stream's finished, we're cool. Like, it's not a personal thing. Like,
Literally.
you need to take your emotions out of it. It's just football.
We'll never, mate. I learn from you, so it's okay. Every time you say something, I'm like, actually, you're probably right about that. Like, that's what I like about it. I'm not trying to be right about anything.
If I was you, I'd be going to get second opinions, but okay.
Yeah, I know people are a bit wavy about it, mate, but I agree with 99.9% of everything you say. Absolutely. Everybody, thank you so much for coming on. Let's shout out your socials before you finish. Start with you, Indiana. Let's go.
Yeah, you can find me at first11_TV, the Football Terrace. Been on Match Show a few times now. You've probably seen me dashing about all over the place. The First XI YouTube channel, we've got some new shows coming up. I'm really looking forward to them. I've got some really, we have got some really interesting things coming up. Things that haven't been done yet. We're testing the water with them. So, yeah, keep your eye out for that. I'm excited about these.
Cheers, Indiana. Looking forward to it. Charlotte, let us know where you...
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Charl_strong. You can also find me on the Women's GNA Weekly TV show. And me and Matt have something very big coming soon.
We do. Classic football. We won't go any further.
Yeah.
Sav?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Savmondo. I'm on Steve Wraith's show on a Monday night. I'm on Matt's show quite often, and Mr. Nine Talks. I think that's the name of his channel. I'm on there as well. I think it's either nine. I think no, it's either Nine Talks or Mr. Nine Talks. I think it's Mr. Nine Talks.
Oh, I love that.
It's probably 8.
Yeah, no, it's definitely 9 because I speak to his wife and she's called Mrs. Nine Talks, so that's where the Mr. bit is coming from.
Oh,
I
right.
see.
Everyone's going to go and see Mrs. Nine Talks now. Typing it in now. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe, like, follow everybody else, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.